I am Mike. This is Elise and Gabriel and Christian.
Mike and I met in 2013. We're married for 3 years before we had our first, and then moved to a bigger house and was there for 5 years. And we wanted to have the Christian life, but still kind of have fun, do our own thing. And, we would try to take our kids to church, but it really wasn't important.
It would be every Sunday, in, out, not know anybody.
Yep. Nobody came to us, nobody greeted us, we didn't connect. Our marriage came crashing down in July of 22. God literally put me on my knees, he needed to grab a hold of my life and change every area of it. My view, my heart, my identity, my pride, my insecurities. And if Mike and I were ever gonna survive, he needed to radically come in and change the foundation of what we thought a marriage was and take us where we were to something totally different and totally new.
During that time, Rob and I have been great friends for probably 30 years. We hadn't talked in a while, and he was the first person that I called. Rob and Dawn were definitely there for us through the whole thing, and Pastor Brenda especially, her guidance was big.
I honestly hadn't been friends with Dawn ever. I mean, we see each other in passing. I never really talked to her. She was I was intimidated by her just because of her personality, her faith, her joyous, and I knew I always wanted something like that, but I was too intimidated. But so never really had a relationship. And when we reached out to them, you would have never known. You would have never known we weren't friends. She loved me and embraced me and spoke truth to us that we had never heard in our marriage ever in 10 years. And she's become one of my very best friends, the person I go to, the person I strive to be as a Christian, as a wife, how she views Rob. She has, I tell her all the time, she's one of the people who saved my life.
I actually went to Cornerstone. Rob lived with me for a few years, and I went to Cornerstone when it was on Killian.
Yeah, and I had never been to Cornerstone, and when he said the first week he was going, I said, okay. Like, I wasn't excited about it, I wasn't mad about it, it was just okay. Over the months to come, Pastor Brenda and Rob and Dawn and our family and our friends began to take our broken shell of a marriage. And by truly surrendering it, because that's what it was for me, that's what it was for Mike, surrendering our marriage into Christ's hands, he was able to form something that would have never been able to be formed by us. It was the start of something just so amazing that humanly possible could have not happened. He had to really turn our ashes into beauty, and if somebody would have said that would have happened, I would have laughed and said, there's just no way, it's too far gone. It was definitely the hardest time of our life, and our marriage was something so beautiful, and I finally understand what it means when they say God brings beauty from ashes and can turn something beautiful into from pain, because that's what it was.
And the church was a big part of it, obviously. Pastor Brenda did so much for us. And, the services and the small groups and making new friends here.
I would say both of us didn't have an idea of what marriage was supposed to be, what God designed for it, what it was supposed to look like. And one of the things that Pastor Brenda had said to us during our time is, your goal every morning is to outserve each other. And that mindset never occurred to me because I didn't want to serve Mike. I was in this for myself. And if I felt loved, then I would serve him. And if he didn't love me the way I needed to be loved, then I would pull back. And it was contractual. It wasn't commitment. So outserving her or outserving each other was foreign to me. But serving my husband now is one of the greatest joys in my life. And I strive to see him and love him the way that Christ does. And it's truly, I say this all the time, it's truly an honor and a joy to be his wife and to see him finally the way that God intended me to see him. It's such a joy and a place I never expected to be, and the love that I have found in loving my husband has been life-changing now than it's been in 10 years. We fight, but I think the huge difference is now we're able to come back to each other and say, man, yeah, I'm really upset, I'm really mad, but I'm sorry.
It's easier to let things go.
It's easier to let things go. And we would both hold on to things and use them just to have something in our back pocket. And we never really communicated in a healthy way. We would shut down, we'd pull away from each other. So now when we fight, I think we both try to realize that it takes two.
I do a lot of praying. God, please let her see that she's wrong.
And I would say the same. But no, Christ has totally become the center. He wasn't the center before. It was us. And the first idea that really helped us with that is when we started Vertical Marriage last C group. The idea of our marriage has to be vertical for it to work.
Well, some final words about Cornerstone. That's different for me. There are so many opportunities to get involved.
Yeah, Cornerstone for me has just been my safe place, my joy. I love coming to church. I love being here. It's so safe and it's so uplifting, and just seeing people that I know love us and walk this journey with us is everything I've hoped for in a church family. Jesus changed everything for us in ways I didn't think were possible. He took so much brokenness and hurt and anger and changed it into joy. It's a joy to be married to this man. And I never felt that before. And he is a good man and a good husband. And Jesus has completely transformed my heart and my stubbornness and my pride to say, Elise, who I have for you as Mike's wife is something you couldn't imagine. But now that I'm starting to see that, he has just completely transformed every part of my life.